Hey you guys, what's up? How you doing? I hope you're having a lovely day. We're gonna do the... Oh, sorry about that. My toe just hit my camera stand, which is a heater. Anyway, we're gonna do the Lovecast episode. And this is not a bone broth episode. I know you've been waiting for a bone broth episode, but I felt compelled to do a video about this, and I've tried to shoot this honestly like 3 or 4 different times, and I keep running out of space on my phone. So instead of filming this in 4K, I'm filming this in HD, blah. But this is important. I do feel that this is important because there's a lot, everything's astrology with me, baby. You know this. There's a lot of Aries energy in the air. We have like 7 planets in Aries. That's a lot. It's not a little, that's a lot. So let me take a sip while I tell you what that really means. Is it 7, 8, 9? It's a lot. It's a lot of Aries energy. And I'm not going to list the planets that are in Aries, but there are a lot of them. And whichever ones they are, that's important. But basically, what Aries is the first house. It's how you show up in the world, and it's who you are. It's your identity. So what does this mean? There's a lot of questioning of our identities happening right now at this current juncture. And there are a lot of planets in Taurus. So who are we? Why do we do what we do? What are our habits? Do we like those habits? Do we like ourselves? There are just like so many questions that we're asking. Am I on the right path or am I not? And 2026 is the year of just things that are not solid, and things that don't have a good foundation are going to fall by the wayside. Whatever has been unsaid is going to bubble to the surface, and you're going to feel it. It's going to be felt. And it must be felt in order to be digested, and in order to be metabolized, and in order to kind of set us onto the right path. But the Libra full moon and all of that, like it's not a coincidence. So if there's something that's been weighing on your mind a lot lately, it's been occupying a lot of emotional space. That's the thing you gotta let go of. Or that's the thing that requires like some form of letting go. There are themes around letting go, and there are themes around prioritizing ourselves. So that's what all of this is meaning. That's what this astrological just moment right now, that's what it's giving. It's giving, why am I here, bro? What is this all for? What's it about? Like, I did it. Okay, great. And this is not a dissimilar feeling that we've felt before. We've felt this way before, but now it feels amplified. We can handle it because it's not the first time we're feeling it. But it's rough, baby. It's not comfortable right now. It's not giving comfort right now. Yeah. So sometimes my eyes darken when I get into oracle mode. Yeah. A lot of volatility right now. A lot of explosiveness. A lot of anger. That's what Aries is. Aries is like, it's a firecracker, Leo is like a flame. Sagittarius is like embers. Aries to me is like a firecracker. It starts, but it doesn't sustain. So there's going to be a lot of bursts of anger and then settle. So when you're feeling that strong emotion, just stop real quick. There's going to be a lot of dehydration. So because it's like the head, like it's all about the head. We're all in our heads right now. So work through it if you can. Baby boy's injured right now, isn't he? He can't work through much, but he needs to rest for real. He needs to rest. Have you noticed how the mental burnout happens before the physical one does? When he is mentally burnt out and he continues to play, he gets injured. That's the pattern. That's what we're starting to see now. That's his thing. So he needs, this is what I think, I don't know, there's a lot for him to be questioning and wondering about and thinking about. But yeah, I think it's like, it's a lot going on. I'm not going to do a whole video about him. We're going to talk about love, okay? We're talking about love. Because there's been this girls retrospective coming back with Lena Dunham releasing her book, and the love triangle that she talks about in her book has got me thinking. It's just like, I've never been in that situation, but I just have some thoughts, I just have some feelings, and I think that they're worth sharing. For anyone out there, any young person, old person, whomever, who just like takes this and finds it helpful, great. If you don't, leave it. But these are just like 3 rules that I think are really helpful to kind of have under your belt in order to just perhaps better navigate the landscape of love. Let me take a little sip before I get into rule number 1. Rule number 1. The ancient Greeks have this saying, gnoti soton. Gnoti soton. Know thyself. Know thyself. What does that mean? You have to know who you are enough for love. Okay, you don't need to know yourself completely because that's an ongoing lifelong journey, right? But you need to know yourself enough for love. And I think that's why we find when people are very young, dating people extremely older, it's like jarring because like they don't know who they are. It's like, well, maybe they know themselves enough to be ready for love, right? Like there are people, and this is not time sensitive, right? Love is not time, like there are people in their 60s and 70s. There are people that go their entire lives that are never ready for love, right? They don't know themselves nearly enough to be ready for love. And they'll still marry and have children and have like crazy dysfunctional lives because they don't know themselves enough for love, right? This is like difficult to explain, but I need you to kind of try to follow my train of thought. Like, when you know who you are, it's going to help you so much in your life, but it's going to serve you so well in love because you're going to know what you do and why you do it. And you're going to know yourself enough, like, okay, these are my raw spots, right? Like, these are things that are no-go zones for me, right? Knowing yourself will allow you to assert boundaries that you can put in place that are going to protect your heart. Because when you get into a relationship, you're very exposed and you're very vulnerable, right? But more than that, you're going to have a lot of things are going to fly at you because you're not just thinking about yourself, you're also having to account for another person. And that other person is a little bit of like a mirror to your behavior. Like relationships are like, hello, hi, this is you. This is what you look like. Yeah, I just want to let you know. And a lot of that like stuff, we don't even know that we do comes to the surface. Why we do what we do comes to the surface. There's like a lot of behaviors and things that like inner child stuff that's not really been worked out yet is coming to the surface. Like there is just so much happening, right? When you're in love and when you're in a relationship and the emotions are really strong, right? So if you don't know yourself and you don't know your boundaries and you don't know like what you will accept, what behavior is acceptable, what behavior is unacceptable. Like if you don't know that stuff, like love can really kind of throw you for a loop. Like it can really, knowing who you are roots you in your reality so that you're not being like, it's not kind of like when the hurricane of love hits, you're not flying off and getting windswept. You're keeping your center. Knowing who you are allows you to keep your center. Okay? And it allows you to assert boundaries. Now, I'm going to be open with you guys and I'm going to be vulnerable right here. I'm going to give you an example of how knowing yourself can serve you in a relationship. Oh, yikes. Okay, so I can sometimes be a little bit of a jealous person in my intimate relationships and in my romantic partnerships. I am prone to jealousy. It's all my Scorpio placements in the first house. I can't help it. But you know what? I'm man enough to admit that that part of myself exists. That's there. It's in my heart. It's there. That darkness. You know, this is not the light, fun side of me. This is the dark side of me. It's not something I'm proud of. It's something that is a weakness. And it's something that many people view as a weakness. So, look at me, I'm digesting this. So that's who I am. That's just who I am. I can't help it. I'm prone to jealousy, so you as my partner, I'm going to let you know, I'm pretending you're my partner, I'm letting you know that this is my radical truth, this is my radical honesty. I can sometimes be a jealous guy, so don't go there and don't push that button. Don't do it. Okay? If you intentionally go out of your way to make me feel that ugly emotion of jealousy that I'm telling you in a moment of vulnerability is a raw spot for me and is a weakness for me, if you take that and weaponize it against me, I cannot be with you. This must end, because I'm not going to start developing all of these complexes in my brain and all of these comparisons and all, like, I know myself. I can be neurotic. Again, know thyself. I can spiral. Like, I just don't want that. That's not love for me, right? That's not good feeling. It's not good feeling. Like, is this good feeling? Is this no good feeling? Like, sometimes you really just got to do that with love. You got to get that primal component. Good feeling, bad feeling. Like, really though, truly, because it like you get into such an animalistic state with it. But like that jealousy thing takes me back to a time of my life when I was very young, and it's inner childhood, and I'm working on it, and I'm in therapy, and I am man enough to admit it, and I've got it under control, right? Like, I've got it under control. So when I feel this emotion, I feel this dysregulation coming on board, the cortisol, the threat, the fear, the feeling of fear creeping in, I can stop myself and I can regulate myself, right? So if I'm doing that work, I'm committed to doing that work and to keeping this part of myself in lock and in check, then I need you to not push that button. Yeah. Because it's unfair for me to be pulling here and for you to be pushing. That's not fair. We're not doing that. Now, jealousy in relationships, yes, it can be fun. Of course, it can be funny as well, right? But only when it's things that are very low stakes, that are not making me question my like self-identity, like, not making me question sort of, you know, my self-esteem. Like, I don't want jealousy that's going to affect my sense of self and my self-perception. So like, if you could just like keep it to things like a meal, a concert, a sporting event, like things like that, fine, right? Like a little bit of petty jealousy is like kind of funny. Look, my crush has got a Venus in Aries, so there's going to be a little bit of that combative nature to the relationship that keeps it spicy and keeps it fun. Of course, there's like kinds of jealousy that are very low stakes. That's just like pure, like kind of like toxic fun. But like, it's low stakes, right? You go into the Rosalia concert makes me feel a little bit jealous, yeah, but it's not making me question my identity and my my self-perception and my sense of self. And even more importantly, you going to a concert that I wish I was at doesn't shake the foundation of our relationship. That doesn't, does that make sense? Like, yeah. And yeah, go to the concert, enjoy yourself, have fun. Like, fundamentally, deep down, I'm happy for him to go to the concert. And it's funny because I was walking back from work. I had a photo shoot and I was walking back and I walked past Fleet Street, which was where all the rave parties used to happen when I was a kid. And I took a picture and I reminisced and I looked back on old photos. I went into the archives and I dug up some old footage and I was like, oh my God, babe, like you lived. Like, you lived. And the antidote to jealousy is living a full life, right? So I actually just had to stop and remind myself. And this goes back to that, like, I have means of regulation now. I have means of stopping myself and being like, dude, yes, he went to a concert as he should. Blow off steam. He's a bit burnt out. So yes, go to the concert. Go to the concert. Live your life. I am human because Rosalia in Barcelona. Oh my God. Like, get out of here. Like, come on. Like, watch how my face lights up when I say that, because that's just like, that would be so cool to go to. And yeah, he's been to a few concerts lately. I think he went to some stuff in Miami. So you know what I'm saying? Like, that ultimately I can take this energy and be like, oh, but you know what? You've lived, and let him have his fun. Where he's at right now, think about where he's at right now. Yeah. Given the circumstances of what he's probably feeling a bit burnt out, what does a concert do? It probably reignites a fire. It gives a little bit of inspiration. It would be so selfish of me to make that about me. Do you know what I mean? But like, when you're young and you don't know yourself, you might make it about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's, again, knowing who you are, like doing the shadow work. I've done the shadow work to dig deep in my ugly emotions and to understand them. And when you understand them better in yourself, this crazy thing happens where you begin to understand it and see it in other people very well. The more in touch you become with yourself, the more connected you become to people around you and the outside wider world. It's a really amazing sort of resonance experience. But that's that. Know yourself, know thyself. I know myself well enough. This is who I am. If you aggravate this raw spot, it's not gonna work, and I'll have to walk away, because I ain't spending like money on therapy trying to get to better know myself and trying to like, my self-esteem is not taking a hit in this relationship. No. If it's taking a hit, it's going in the wrong direction. Like, bad, right? Maybe there's extra credit, a little extra credit, like, you know, if your self-esteem depreciates in the relationship, not good. Because love's supposed to make you feel good, you know? And activated. Calming, but activated. Calming, but activated. You're striving to be your best self, but you're also like, you know, soothing to one another, and you bring out, you know, you can activate the best, but you can motivate the best, but you can also like smooth out the edges when you need to really just, you know? Anyway, I'm babbling. Rule number two. You gotta be on the same page. You gotta be on the same page. Okay? You gotta be on the same page. This is really helpful because it stops you from, it's like the antidote to being gaslit in a relationship. Gaslighting, if you guys don't know what it is, it's when an event happens. It's not even about an event. It's like, how do I describe it? Gosh. Gaslighting happens when you're not living in a shared sense of reality. Yeah, that's like kind of what gaslighting, that's like, to me, what gaslighting fundamentally is. You're in like separate realities. You're not in a shared reality, right? How do I explain this? There are a lot of, okay, so my most dysfunctional relationships were dysfunctional because we didn't have a shared reality. And an example of this is, we would go to an event or a dinner and we would have a conversation that we're both present for and we're both privy to. And then the event finishes, we drive home, and we're talking about the conversation. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but it's as if you both had two different conversations. Does that make sense? Like you went to an event, you experienced the same stimulus, the same conversation, and then as you're leaving, you're talking about that conversation, and it's as if you heard two different things. That's really, really no good. Because instead of being able to discuss the conversation, you're discussing like interpretations of an event, like, and that is not okay. Like, that is so frustrating. Like, just from my own experience of being in relationships, like, I don't have to be with someone that's going to agree with me on everything. Because who are you going to find in this life that's going to agree with you on everything? Nobody! But you should have a shared value system. You should have enough of a shared value system whereby when things happen in life, you see them the same. You're interpreting the same. You live in the same reality, right? You occupy the same reality. That's so important, because I see a lot of couples get in this rut of like fighting over details, over things, instead of fighting about the deeper hidden meaning and like the layers, right? And like, it's just, yeah. Get on the same page. Get on the same page. Okay? Now that is just basic. If you can get on the same page, excellent. This is extra credit. If you can get on the same frequency, what do I mean by this? Another example. Like being on the same frequency, have you ever had a friend or a person in your life, I know you have, that you are in a group situation and conversations happening and someone says a word or someone says something or something happens and you just look at that person because you both heard the same thing, and you look at them and they look at you and you're just like knowing exactly what the other person's thinking? It's extraordinary. It's like psychic, telepathic. But that's a shared frequency. Right? You're tuned in. Your antenna is up here and it's tuned in to each other. And you can think the same thought. You can experience the same thing and you're thinking the same thought. I have that with almost every single one of my best friends. I have that. Right? And that is why I say, like, marry your best friend. But it's also deeper than that. It's like, marry someone that, like, you ain't even gotta explain, bro. They just know. Because life is gonna happen and you don't want to be sitting there at the roadmap fighting over details. You want to be moving in the action. Does that make sense? Like, I just feel like that whole shared reality thing is so important because, like, yeah, I just see it a lot and I'm like, oh. it goes back to astrology. I'm like, your Mercury placements are wrong. Like because Mercury's the planet of communication. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of love there and there's a lot of this there, but maybe your Mercury is creating a square or something because like you guys don't speak the same language. Okay? You're speaking different languages, all right? So get on the same page. Get on the same page. Get on the same page. Extra credit for getting on the same frequency. If you can get on the same frequency, I just feel like your relationship is going to last so much longer. Because then you're like, you know how the other person's thinking. So you can anticipate their needs. You can anticipate them really well. You don't need to be told, you just know. And when life starts happening, you just know how to react and respond, right? Oh, my crush is injured right now. Okay, he probably needs some space right now. Oh, my crush is looking really burnt out when he's playing on the court. Okay, he probably needs a lot of love right now. So I'm gonna try to push a lot of just support that way. But it's that thing of like when you know a person quite well and you can read them quite well, and this is when astrology becomes important, you know when to push, you know when to pull, you know when people need space, you know when to like step back. It's like, yeah, being on the same page and occupying the same frequency allows you to be able to anticipate needs, which is going to be really helpful in a relationship. It's going to be so helpful. And yeah, I feel quite strongly about that one. So that's number 2. Number 3, be open. You have to be open for love. I'm going to be vulnerable again. Do I feel open for love? If I'm honest, I'm at a point in my life where I'm really trying to get it together still. And do I feel further along than I felt 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3? Sure, absolutely. I feel more prepared than I felt back then. I know myself, sometimes to an overwhelming degree, and so strongly at times in my relationship that it can swallow up the other person. So I know that about myself. I know that I can be a very overwhelming presence in anyone's life. So I have to scale back and do you know what I'm saying? I know myself. Am I ready for love? I'm ready for a texting crush. I'm ready for a texting crush. You know what I'm saying? You get a cute little text and you're like, oh, I heard from my little That's about as much as I've got capacity for, because to be honest with you, I'm in some really intense therapy. I'm in law school. I'm juggling and I'm doing a lot. And I think my priority right now is my body and my nervous system, right? So it's like, if I'm honest, do I feel ready for love? Yes. Do I feel ready for a full-blown relationship? No. Maybe not. But do I have space for something? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of throwing the feelers out there, but I can't force it. The ball's in your court. I just think that with everything that he's going through, yeah, give him a little romance. Give him a little romance, okay? But for me right now, we're in the same spot, bro. I think we're both really occupied with the task at hand. But I sometimes wonder, are we putting too many eggs in one basket? In terms of when you go all in on your career, you do that because you have to do that. But are there any ways that we can maybe have some healthy distractions? healthy distractions that make the days a little brighter. If you get my drift. If you make them a little, you know what I'm saying? Very low stakes. Very low stakes. That's about what I have capacity for. Because I'm waiting for my nervous system to catch up to where my head and my heart is at. My head and my heart is like here, and my nervous system is like here. And we've started here, right? Like we started here. So like the fact that we've made like this much progress is good. But there needs to be some more work done here to kind of get my central nervous system in a good spot. Yeah. Yes. So you got to be open for it. Yeah. And in relationships, you got to be open with each other. Like, bro, communication is key. Like, this is why I'm such a big believer in premarital counseling. Like, go to a marriage counselor before you get married and have them carve out, like, not have them, but like you and your partner sit down and discuss all of the roles and responsibilities in your relationship and like who's going to be taking care of what. Because I really feel like in relationships, especially long-term relationships, there's a lot of resentment that builds because fires aren't being stamped out, or like one partner is taking on board more responsibility than the other and it is feeling too burdensome, right? So one of the happiest couples I know who have been married for a very long time and in their 70s, maybe even 80s actually, they're extraordinary. They're extraordinary. Because they sit down every year, they sit down, they get a hotel room and they map out the upcoming year. All right, look, maintenance of the house. These are the bills that are going to be paid for the house. Who's going to be paying them? All right, these are the childcare costs. Who's going to be paying them? All right, these are just the costs, right? How about the actual day-to-day activities in the doing, right? If we have children, who's going to be responsible for childcare? Okay, so you got costs, cool. Who's doing the childcare, right? Are we homeschooling them or are we dropping them off? Because drop off and pick up has got to happen and someone's got to do it. And like, we need to sit down at the beginning of the year and we need to get our little pieces of paper out, maybe have a little glass of vino, add a little Chateau Neuf du Pop and drink, write it down, and we sit down and we map out the year, the roadmap. This is what we're doing. This is what we're wanting. This is what we're doing. This is like that. Then like that's like a conversation that you have at the beginning of the year. But then that's you ongoingly check in with one another, right? Like, because maybe you get a few months in and one person's feeling overwhelmed. So it's like, okay, babe, like, cool. Hey, I just want to check in with you because like I know that this was a responsibility that I had, but I just feel like I'm not coping with it. And can we like figure this out because like it's not working? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's an ongoing conversation. Like, it starts with like premarital counseling, but that conversation is continual. Like, I sometimes think that relationships are just one ongoing conversation. And like when you're in the low stakes days of like texting, you can go a few days without hearing from them. It's fine. You're not gonna die, okay? It's low stakes. It's low stakes. As you build in the relationship, yeah, there becomes a little bit more of accountability and responsibility to each other. But babe, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to have anything deep and like I just want a little bit of fluff, you know? I want a little, like I said, a little texting crush, right? It reminded me of my teenage years, you know, a little like, but when you're in that, like, again, like when you're in that early days, like you can go a few days without hearing from them and it's okay. Yeah. Maybe you just send like a cute selfie or like maybe you see something funny that reminds you of them And then you go about your merry day, but it's low stakes. It's not like, oh my God, I haven't heard from him. I got it. It's like, no, like, babe, like, you're exhausting yourself. Like, I don't want any of that. I don't want any more on my plate than what is necessary right now. Okay? And it goes back to that, like, nervous system catching up with my head and my heart. We're getting there. We're close. I mean, I said this, but it's like, it's closer. It's closer. But yes, be open. You got to be open, and you got to know what you're open for. You got to know what you're open for. You got to know what you got time for. You got kids or whatever, or you're a divorcee or a widow. Like, okay, maybe you only have time for a texting crush. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's as seen as what is appropriate. But when you're in, like, yeah, as you move from texting crush to kind of like, you know, yeah, we're kind of steady. We do a few FaceTime calls, and like, I'm not really seeing anybody else. I don't really think they're seeing anybody else, and we're on our merry way. But that can go for that can go for years. Like, that doesn't have to happen overnight. So like, this is why I say, like, you don't really have to know yourself 100% to be ready for a relationship. You need to know yourself enough, right? You need to know yourself enough. And then again, when you're open and you have that constant communication, if you're feeling those ugly feelings, you can voice them to your partner. But oftentimes, man, like, we feel what we feel and we don't know. We can't verbalize it, right? We can't put words to this. It's hard, which is why you gotta have ears, eyes, heart open. Ears, eyes, heart open. It's gotta be open for love, right? So, be open, and yeah. Know yourself. I know myself. I'm like, oh, knowing myself helps me be like, I'm feeling like this is becoming a little bit more involved than I had intended. Or like, this is starting to feel a little bit heavier than I had intended. I'm gonna kind of just like step back. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing yourself, and it's just so helpful. It's just so helpful, guys. That's why it's rule number 1. That's why it's rule number 1. And I'm gonna wrap up the last few minutes with Crushwatch. I'm gonna leave it at the end because we got through the grits and gravy, the good stuff. Now we spoke to the majority. Now we're gonna get to the super duper minority, right? Good side, always. Yeah, I think he's a bit burnt out. I think, like I said, I think Cancer occupies his 6th house. So when his emotions aren't right, when he's not feeling emotional fulfillment or engagement in his work, it's really hard for him. It's really hard for him. And then it begins to affect his body. Yeah. So I think for him to win the majors and the titles, it exerts a lot of emotional energy that is not sustainable year round. You can't have that much. You can't play every tournament with the intensity that you have for the slams or the Olympics, let's say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are levels to it. I think right now what's happening for him is that he's accomplished a lot and he's achieved a lot. And sometimes when you get into those positions, it really becomes like, well, is that all there is? But this is not the first time that he's been here, because we've had that feeling with our first, right? The first slam. We had that feeling with the Olympics. We might have that feeling again now, but it's not as jarring, right? Because we know ourselves and we know what we're going through. It's a marathon and not a sprint. I have to be really careful here because I don't want to rock the boat, and I don't want to plant seeds in the brain that are like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand the fragility of the mind in which I speak, and I care for it. But I think when we have these questions of like, is that all there is, right? It's that time of like, well, we got to find new goals, and we got to find new things, because it can't be about the dineros, and it can't be about the titles, because the titles are going to come, and the numbers and all of that. Like, yes, we're focused on that, but we're not obsessed with it. Sports and entertainment, by its very nature, is exploitive. It is. And in what direction? And why? Why that direction? And I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because it's political. But it's really that thing of like, what do you want your legacy to be? You know, you benefit a lot from the equation as it stands, right? You do. You really do. And you've worked hard for it. But what's next? Is it to kind of deteriorate your body? I mean, that's the road we're headed down. Something must change. We know this, and we've talked about it, and we've discussed it, and it's been there. It's been there. So how can we, I don't know, maybe that's the new, right? Because you have, I don't know how, I don't know if you realize how powerful you are. But it's this thing of, right? Like, what's the balance? Where is the balance? Like, I'm out here busting my nuts and putting my body through a lot. And you have a pen in your hand. And you organize very well, but you're not going through like the physical pain that I go through. And there's the symbiosis that interacts between us, right? It's like this dance that happens, but it's a dance that is coming and feeling like it's coming at my physical expense. So how can I've gotten here, I know what this is, and I've seen what it's all about. How can I tweak it in a way that it suits me? It's the Taurus way, right? This is good and this is great, but how can I tweak it in a way where it suits me? I think that's like, but how do you do that without pissing people off? Do you know what I mean? Like, because like, it's not fair that your tendons and your arm and your knee and it's not fair that you have you're destined to a life of premature arthritis. And this is when eating food becomes tremendously important. Diet becomes tremendously important, because like, you got to keep that damp heat at bay. But anyway, just for like, that's just like my 2 cents for him, is like, and you don't have to figure out the world's problems overnight, babe. Like, it's not something you got to do now. It's something to think about. It's what you're considering right here in this moment. What am I building? I built this. What else am I building? Is it just the numbers now? And if it is just about the numbers, then just steady as she goes and keep doing what you're doing and continue to go down the road that you're going, because you're going to get to that number. But you and I both know right now that like, if I get to that number, am I still going to be happy? That's the thought now. That's the thought. So it's just a reassessment of goals. It's where we're at, it's what we're doing, it's how it's done. And yeah, going back to that whole like allowing your nervous system to catch up to your head and your heart, like that's where I'm at right now. I think that's ironically where he's at right now in his career, right? Like, my head and my heart are here and I want to perform at this optimal level, but my body and my nervous system is here. And I don't know if getting it up there is the solution, because when I get it up there, I can do really well, but then it goes back down to here. And I think a lot of that is because of scheduling and whatever. So like, if you guys want what's best out of me to give my best at every performance, I need to be able to be here, and I need to stay here consistently. because right now it's here and then it's here and then it's there and then it's here and then I'm injured and then it's here and then so yeah, I think that's maybe the thoughts that are stewing, because like I don't know, and they understand it too, but they're weird. They have interesting rules. Not weird, I'm sorry, that's a rude word. They're very interesting with their rules, because when you get to a certain age you start to pick and choose and you're not penalized. So as you get older, it will get easier, but I just think that it's still this thing of like, okay, but like I'm borderline abusing my body. And that's not okay. Like I don't want to feel like a piece of me. And just like his mom said, I don't want my son to be a broken toy. Yeah, and I like, they're incentivized to make money. Okay, we can still make money. We can still meet our bottom line. We can still grow the sport. We got to get more creative. It's not going to come from cramming. That's not creative. It's going to come from sponsorship. It's going to come from more eyeballs. It's going to come from exposure. It's going to come from strategy. It's not going to come from cramming. Cramming's not working. I leave you with that. I leave you with that. I said too much. And I'm just, maybe they're like, keep them away. Keep them away. We need our little pony boy to go. We need that pony whip. But I don't know. I empathize. I see it. I understand it. And if you ever need someone who's just like low stakes, completely removed, nothing to do with your world at all, no horse in the race at all. If you just want someone that understands the commitment, the physicality, the emotions, all of what you go through as a little texting crush, you know where to find me, okay? One thing I guarantee you, with everything that I've said today, I'm not going to add any more stress to your life than what is necessary, okay? I don't want to be a burden, and I don't want to add any whatever, and likewise back. That's a two-way street. If I feel like, you know what, like, this is a lot, cute, we're connected, love that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if it ever feels like too much in either direction, please, I'm all the way across the world. And very happily so, just living my life and building my things, you know? But, yeah, that's the Love Cast, episode 1. I hope that was helpful for you guys. And I hope that, it gets the brain swirling. It gets things going. It gets thoughts processing, you know? Know thyself. Get on the same page. And be open. You got to be open. And you got to know what you're open for, really. Yeah, I love you guys. And, yeah. Rest up. Breathe. There's going to be a lot of explosive energy circulating the air. Breathe through it and be kind to yourself. You know, rest is servitude to God. Remember, even God himself or herself or themself had a rest day. Even God himself, herself, themself had a rest day. So yeah, it's hard to switch off and it's hard to rest sometimes, but it's you're going to be able to do more later when you can rest. Yeah. Oh, a lot of energy winners. I feel good about this one. I love you guys. Be kind to yourself. And don't be afraid to rest. I love to lay down. I'm like a bit of a relaxation king. What have I been up to lately? I've been doing all of the things I think baby boy wishes he could be doing, which is laying down, eating, and doing nothing. And a lot of this, which is just me. Whatever. Know thyself, right? Bye.